What's shaking? Hey, I'm Rick Jordan. Today, we're going all in. This one is for everyone out there, all my people who are just feeling overwhelmed and like you can't get ahead because you got just so much on your plate right now and you feel like you constantly get pulled in 10 different directions. A lot of this could have to do with work or with your business or even just like keeping your house in order. But today, this is a shout out to you. I went to ClickFunnels or Funnel Hacking Live, right, a little while ago, and it's the first time I ever saw Jocko speak in public. You know, I've listened to his podcast, awesome show, by the way, and I think you should listen to it. But he had some tips that I wrote down. I'm like, man, these are beautiful, especially when it comes to business, especially when it comes to work, especially when it comes to like prioritizing your life. Because he's a Navy SEAL, a very successful one. I've actually had a great Navy SEAL on the show 2 times, Larry Yatch. And it's very similar concepts, right, to what they're looking at here. Because the thing is you do probably have a lot of things, like a lot of problems. Everybody has a lot of problems, right? None of us are that special to where we're the only ones that have to deal with a lot of crap every single day, right? None of us are that special to where it's like, oh, you know, don't get into that competitive mode. That's a side note, but think that your life is worse than somebody else's. I guarantee you can always find somebody's life who's worse and that you would never trade for in a million years because you're like, I'll keep my own problems. That's all good. But your problems, I get it in the moment because I feel the same thing a lot, is that you've got a lot of them and you feel like you're getting pulled and you're not getting anything done whatsoever. The problem that you probably haven't realized yet is that you're trying to solve all of them at once. You're like looking at this big mess of stuff like in the same bowl, like if you had 10,000 Post-it notes, or we'll go with a more reasonable number, like 27 Post-it notes. We'll go lower. How about that? 18 Post-it notes that you've written a problem on each and you put it in the bowl and you're like, man, that's a lot of problems. But then you might take them all out and you might start sticking them on a desk around a wall and you're looking at them all together and it's overwhelming because every one of them is urgent. Every one of them seems like it could be a fire. Every one of them just drains you mentally. The problem, though, is exactly what I just described, is that when you try to solve all of your problems at the same time, you will solve none of your problems at all. You have to start picking these things off one by one. You know, when it comes to Jocko and the Navy SEALs or Larry Yatch, like I had on here, there's times to where it's like a huge strike that you can do in a military operation to where you see like 10 bad guys, and instead of like picking them off one by one, you're like, oh man, I could take them all out at once with this missile. But the problem with the missile, this is the problem with this approach. The problem with the missile is it might not cover just those 10 guys. You could have that thing called collateral damage around you when you actually try to send in something more than what you need to try to deal with all your problems at the same time. You will create more problems when you try to deal with all of your problems at the same time. So there's things that you need to do, and those 2 words that you need right now when you take a look at your problems are prioritize and execute. The first thing that I'm going to give you is a way to do that, okay? It comes from a former board member of mine who is amazing. And this is something that has stuck with me for the last several years, would always tell me, it's like, Rick, all of your goals do not require your action. And at first, I felt like he was like messing with my brain, right? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, if it's my goal and I don't do anything about it, he's like, I think you're missing the point, man. Not all of your goals require your action. Which means the first thing that you need to do is recognize that you can put other people around you. You can delegate if you're in a leadership role, or you can ask a peer for help if it's at work, or if it's at home, you could ask your partner for some help. Not all of your goals require your action. This is part of prioritizing and executing, because somebody else could execute on this something for you. And you know what? It might be one of the best things you can actually do for them is ask that person for help. They might love the chance to jump at it because maybe they love you and they just want to see you succeed. Or maybe they're a peer and they figure that they're all in this together with you on a team. Or maybe they work for you and you're delegating and like, I want to make my boss happy. I want to make this company money. I want to shine. I want to get promoted. So of course I'm going to help. When you ask for the help of somebody else, you are actually giving them a chance to do some amazing things. And it helps you too. Not all of your goals require your actions. The second thing, how you prioritize and execute, and these next three are actually detach modes, okay? The second thing is detach from the chaos. There's ways that I do this personally is that I will literally like walk outside the office, and I encourage everybody in the physical office that we have to actually leave for lunch. Or if you're remote, I will tell people this over Zoom, over Google Meet. It's like, hey, right now you need to take 20 minutes. Okay, because you're feeling overwhelmed at the moment, and the only way you're going to stop that dead in its tracks, this spiral of emotion to where you feel overwhelmed about all these problems, is to literally not do anything right now. Do nothing for the next 20 minutes. Detach from the chaos. You have to do that in order to get new perspective, which is the third one here. You gain new perspective. When you detach from the chaos, you can gain new perspective. And this might be just because you're literally looking at things from a different light with a fresh mind. How many of you have stepped away from something for just 15 minutes or maybe an hour, and you come back and you see the answer like almost immediately? Or you bring in a fresh pair of eyes from a friend, a loved one, whatever, and they're like, yeah, right there. And it's like instant. It's like, how did I not see that? Easy, because you were in the chaos. That's why. And you're trying to solve all your problems at once. Sometimes gaining that fresh perspective is essential, but you have to detach from the chaos first. And then this last one I'm going to give you today, because these are just steps that you can start right now, literally today. Okay, the first was obviously prioritize and execute. Then it's detach from the chaos. 3, gain new perspective. And the last one is a detach, which is so difficult. It's so freaking difficult sometimes, is detach from your emotions. I think back in my leadership style, I've expressed this to some people, to a coach and some other people in my company before. My leadership style is actually like that of a coach from a baseball team. I played baseball for 9 years, and to me, it's like everybody has their position, right? And everybody can actually back up people, meaning like if there's a ground ball that gets hit right to the first baseman, what'll happen is the second baseman will actually like run behind that person just in case they miss it as backup. It's pretty cool how they shift like that. Or if there is a fly ball, this is beautiful. If there is a fly ball to the outfield and you've got the left fielder and the center fielder and it's hit right between them, we used to do something which happens all the time still in baseball where you just yell out, "I got it." That is assuming responsibility for what's coming at you. And that way somebody else can be like, all right, they just took complete responsibility for that. I'm just going to back that person up. It's amazing, but the only way to do this stuff is detach from your emotions, because you might think, oh my gosh, there's a runner on first, there's a runner on third. What can I do? If I don't perform, we're going to lose. Or if I've got all these problems around, if I don't do this, our whole team's going to fail. If I don't do this, I'm not going to make money. That person just pissed me off because of the way that I think that they talk to me. And I think that they're asking too much of me. My boss is asking too much of me right now. You know what? That person who works for me is not performing. I don't get it. Why are they so freaking stupid? You start to go down this rabbit hole of emotions, and then nobody can get each other's back because nobody is saying, I got it. The only way that you can say I got it is if you detach from your emotions and you start to prioritize and hit one thing at a time, because it is impossible. It is absolutely impossible to get 14 fly balls at the same time. It's impossible to work on those 18 Post-it notes in your bowl or on your desk or stuck to your wall at the same time. Start to trust your people. Start to ask for help from other people in your life. Relationships, if it's a partner at home, or if it's people that work for you, or maybe from your boss and you're saying, I can't get this thing done because I don't have time. Can you send me some more help? Mayday, I need some assistance here, please, because I've got all these problems and I know that I need to prioritize. That's the only way you're going to get all your problems accomplished, because when you try to solve all your problems at the same time, you will solve none at all. Time to shift your focus, prioritize and execute. Take these 4 steps and get after it.